Hello everyone, nubkeks here. Welcome back to Nub Raids. And in today's video, we're doing an account takeover. We're doing some coaching for Hollower. So she's at the point in the game where she's sort of gotten through most of the mid game, I would say. But we're looking to push further now into some of that late game stuff. So what am I even talking about here, and who is this for? So for the early game in Raid Shadow Legends, I feel like the early game is when you're on like these early missions here. You're going through this sort of stuff. I'd say you're a total beginner for like the first, maybe a couple of weeks to a month. As a total beginner, that's building your starter champion up to level 60, getting them geared out, just figuring out how the game actually works. And then once you've got your first 60 and you're actually able to do stuff with your starter, that's when you really move into that early game. And early game is actually pretty long. Early game can take you several months, which is building up a few more level 60s, being able to put together a full team of 60s. It's getting up into gold arena. It's getting your arbiter, getting dungeons level 20 down. Then for the mid game is you go, okay, well, I've got arbiter. What do I do now? I've got dungeons 20 down, and that's sort of the point that we're at now. We're sort of finishing out that mid game. We'll talk about that, and we'll talk about what then late game means for an account, and really the direction we're supposed to be going. So when Hollower contacted me, she was saying that she's actually built a team now that can do, yeah, look at this. We've got 2 keys, and we can do Ultra Nightmare Clan Boss. This is one of the defining things. This is like the big thing you want to target. Priority number 1. Always in this game is your Demon Lord Clan Boss team. That takes priority over literally everything else. Why is that the case? Well, very simply, when we get into Nightmare, if you're able to down Nightmare, you can start getting Sacred Shards, okay? You can start getting Legendary Skill Tomes. That's where stuff really gets good. When we get into Ultra Nightmare, again, you're going to get more of that stuff. Even more so, this is where you really start to drop Void Shards. You don't see the drop percentages here. I might do some videos on that another time. But yeah, you start to get more legendary books, more sacreds, a lot more void shards, and that's what's really going to open stuff up for you to push further. All right, when we come to look at the champions here on this account, we've got a ton of stuff going for us, and you can see this has really helped the progression here. We've had some really good luck with legendaries. Actually, maybe not just good luck. We have lots of legendaries that we haven't got around to building up yet. But the ones that we have built up, we've got some insanely good ones, right? We've got that Brogni. In fact, he's empowered +1, believe it or not. We've got Bad El. We've got Sissia. We actually have a Martyr, a Septimus for farming dungeons 20. We've got some fantastic champs here. Venus, really, really good champ. This is opening up a ton of options for us. Sissia basically gives you that spider speed farm. She's already got that done, so that's great. Spider is done. And Spider is the dungeon to farm for Clan v Clan. So pushing into end game Clan v Clan, you've got Sissia. You've got it on lockdown. Like, it's good. For solo, you can actually set up solo farming. I'm going to be honest. I don't actually know the build for this because I don't have Bad El, and I've never actually done this myself. But I believe, I'm pretty sure that Tyraku has a bunch of solo videos for dungeons. I know that he did take a bunch of them down recently and he's redoing them. I think I saw that he has a Bad El video, so go check that out. Tyraku Raid Shadow Legends, check him out, see if he has a video. But Bad El can solo Ice Golem and Dragon, so you can get both of those dungeons solo farming with Bad El. It's really not that hard. Honestly, your Bad El is maybe a bit low on health, right? But he's probably not far off being able to solo some of those dungeons with just some build tweaks and stuff like that. So you can actually start farming those dungeons, farming up food champions during those dungeons for fusions. Double dipping there can be really nice, really effective, can save you a heck of a lot of time, especially because I'm seeing we don't have any poison exploders. Do we? Do we have Eleanor? Oh, actually we do. Yo, okay. So here we go. Hang on. So we've got a whole bunch of options here. We have Eleanor. That opens up a million different options. So pushing into like potentially farming high level Ice Golem. Let's set up some teams here. So the sort of thing we can do, you actually have a Eurocrim as well, believe it or not. That's also very helpful. So going in with someone like a Bad El. We don't have a Tomb Lord, so we'll be looking for someone else to really pump out a lot of poisons. Dark Kale, you're actually very close to Dark Kale. So when you get Dark Hail, he can go into this as well. But we'd be looking for champions that can do this. So Eleanor gives you Poison Explosion team, right? Basically, she comes in, she explodes all the poison debuffs. We just need champs to put that out. The big champion that we're missing at least one that is built out. Let's turn on vaults because we might not have built her yet. But there's the Void Rare that does this incredibly well. It's Renegade. Renegade wants to also become a high priority for you to build out, and especially for pushing into harder Doom towers. Prince Kymar is ideal, but Prince Kymar is hard to get. Do we not have a Renegade at all? Yo, that's super unlucky if that's the case. It's possible I'm just blind. Oh yeah, we totally do have a Renegade. Okay, good. We have Renegade. You can book her out and level her up, but I would say Renegade, good, we have one. Renegade is really high priority. Getting Renegade up is going to open up speed farming. This is going to be how we speed farm dungeons, right? It's bringing in that reset champion, and she can do it just fine. It's one of the nice things about Poison Explosion versus Seer. Seer becomes more awkward because Seer has a longer cooldown, but the Poison Explosion champions have a short cooldown. So we've got our Poison Exploder. Bad L can lay some poisons. We're going to grab that Renegade now. So she was... I'm like so blind. You know, sometimes you just find champions no problem, and then other times you're like staring at it and you're blind. That's Ogre and Jailer. Renegade. Bam. So this is setting us up, right? That you're going to have Elenarl. She's actually booked already. Brilliant. So she comes in. She does her Smolder. Then she's going to combust in her second move. Renegade, you can actually build Renegade to be really, really fast. Like I have my Kymar built. And you just come in and you like you disable Sacrificial Ritual. You say don't use that on round 1. Round 2, you're going to priority 1 Sacrificial Ritual. Reset, we lay that stuff out again. Yeah, I deleted that. We're going to need probably more poison. This is where Dark Hail can be really good. We could even use a Eurogrim. Eurogrim is fine as well. You could use Eurogrim. We want someone else. Taurus is a really good epic that can do it. I don't know if we have a Taurus. He's a Skinwalker. But basically, we're looking for champions who can put out poison. I'd say Dark Hail. You're so close to getting Dark Hail. I would just wait for Dark Hail and build a Dark Hail, to be honest. I would just be chilling and not build up others. But yeah, you put Dark Hail in here. You're going to have 2 poisons from Bad L. You're going to have 2 poisons from Elenarl. 2 more poisons from Eurogrim. Have Dark Hail extend those poisons. Elenarl blows them up. Wave 2, Renegade resets. We do the same thing. Elenarl blows them up. We get to the boss, and then we basically have Renegade, Elenarl. We can even build Eurogrim to be kind of squishy, and we can build Dark Hail to be squishy. They'll all die pretty quickly, and Bad L will just solo the boss, right? So that's an option. Alternatively, you can look into just Bad L pure solo compositions. But there you go. I would say you've got really good basis for a Poison Explosion speed farm teams for Ice Golem, for Dragon. When you come into Fire Knight, it's going to be a different team. This team will do it for those 2. So for Fire Knight, it gets more difficult. Obviously, the key to Fire Knight is Allure, who we do have in there. Can we do it with just these champions? Renegade is going to be your key then as well to give you resets. And the nice thing about Renegade for Fire Knight is that we can come in, and the key with Renegade is that she comes in, right? Again, we want to don't use, and we actually want to turn Dark Lash Out off here as well. This, we're going to priority 1. We're going to open with the Sacrificial Ritual. Then we get to the boss. Lash Out is a triple hitter. So we have a nice, fast Renegade who's going to come in, and Renegade is going to give us a triple hit to knock down that shield, and then Allure can keep it down, which is brilliant. So we can like save that. What we're looking for here, you can do a Poison Explosion team like I do. Now, I use Tomb Lord for that, and I'm not sure. Tomb Lord and Dark Hail and Elenarl are the 3. Tomb Lord, Dark Hail, Elenarl, and then you basically have my team. Now, the issue there is that I think you may need Tomb Lord to make that team work. I'm not sure if he can be replaced. Now, if he cannot be replaced, you're still okay. You'd be looking for a Seer at this point. You'd put in a Seer. You'd want Lydia at that point. Lydia for the buffs. And then you'd want just someone else pretty much to put out buffs. You could just use a Brogni, to be honest. You could put in like Brogni, Lydia, Seer, and that would probably do the job. Again, I would be double checking that. You want to double check it. I've not run a Seer team, so you just want to be safe. You want to be careful. I guess the easiest thing to do, the best thing to do, is just come in and compare to the top teams. This is what I'd be doing, because I'm not 100% sure about those. We can come in, Seer, you give Cold Hearts in there. That could work. Yeah, again, a team like this can definitely work. Lydia can just do the job here. That's okay. Actually, this would be the team I'd be going for. this team right here is what I would go for. So a seer, when you get her, I know that you've got a ninja, so you're good, right? We've got ninja. There we go. Bam. This is your team. You've got nearly all these champions. The only one you're missing is a seer. Now, without a seer, you're going to be looking for a Tomb Lord or a Calvalax, and you can build a team like this, right? This sort of team can work. Or you could build a Poison Explosion team like the one I'm using, which is going to be something like this. He's using 2 Elenarls instead of a Renegade. The easier way for you is going to be using a Renegade. But you're reliant, really, I feel, on pulling a Seer or a Tomb Lord. We get one of those, and a Fire Knight team's good to go. So that's like dungeons locked down, like end game speed farm teams, right? These are perfect. Either speed farm teams for Dragon and Ice Golem. You also have end game solo champion teams with Bad L. Spider, you pretty much have on lockdown. Fire Knight, endgame as well. What do we run for Spider? You pretty much... Okay, so this sort of... I mean, you can find better teams than this. You can get it sub, like... things like 20 seconds or so. And basically what you're going to be looking for is you got the double stun champions here, which is fine. Like, you just want something to stun. The Spiderlings is good. Sissia, and then some Cold Hearts, right? If we look at, like, top teams for Spider 25, you can see AoE stun. We got some AoE stuns and freezes here and Sissias. Like, there's lots and lots of different options that we can use. But yeah, you've got like the main stuff really on lockdown. Achak does the AoE freeze with the burns, that sort of thing. But like Cold Hearts, Sissia, yeah, like this team right here would be a very accessible team. I know you've got one Cold Heart. You've got Sissia as the hardest part. We've got Renegade good to go. Another Cold Heart, Achak, something like that in there. And we're freezing it. And bam. Like, here we're not even talking about mid-game anymore. We're talking about the late-game stuff, right? Obviously, to do this dungeon stuff, you're very reliant on specific champions to speed farm. Are you okay doing dungeons at level 20? Yes, you're actually totally fine doing dungeons at level 20. The big one really is getting Spider to 25. Spider 25, and that's specifically to push late game CVC, right? For getting your CVC points for fusion events like tournaments, dungeon divers, all that sort of stuff. Level 20 is absolutely fine. It's great. And it's really quick as well. You really want very, very good teams to be farming stage 24, 25. And the main reason, honestly, is the main one to look at is Spider 25 for that sort of stuff. And then the others are kind of a luxury that you don't need, but it is worth doing. So there you go. That's a pretty big deal. Now, another big thing you can do, for most players, I would actually be saying make Lydia your #1 priority. We can be a little bit cheeky here. We can take a little bit of time. You've probably been able to delay this a bit because you have Venus, which is very lucky, right? Venus, Void Legendary, AoE decreased defense and weaken. So that's obviously really helped you with a lot of waves, a lot of that sort of stuff. But I would definitely be making, for most players, and still for you nonetheless, I would be making Lydia a very high priority. We have most of these faction crypts beaten, which is great. So you're actually totally fine. I definitely get Dark Kael up when we get him, right? For those poison teams. I get Elenarl up. And they're 2 faction crypts. We haven't quite beaten Dark Elves, but we've beaten High Elves, right? But just getting up some of these champions to finish off like Orcs, to finish off Lizardmen. I see Skinwalkers is in a bad way here. So building up champions specifically to beat those factions. Yeah, so like in terms of our Skinwalkers, it's a pretty miserly selection of champions. Like we come into this, you actually have got fine. You've got a team to beat it. Like this team will do it. You actually have a great team. Cleopteryx is fine as well. I don't think you need her though. This team should do you for 21. The specific team I use, I have a Hackcorn Smash Lord in instead of Hofferes, and then I have a Brachus instead of Fane. But my team is almost exactly the same as yours. The difference is that obviously my champions are all level 60. So that's going to be the big deal. Getting these champions to 60, getting them geared up. I'd put a pretty big priority on that because Lydia is just really, really good for Hydra, for Arena, for Doom Tower, for pushing into a lot of that late game stuff. If you do get a Seer, she opens up the Seer teams in a way that, because she gives you buffs, she opens up Seer teams in a way that Venus can't. So that's a pretty big priority. And the rewards for farming Faction Wars 21, you get tons of gear out of it from Perception, Resilience, Perception being the big set. Like how much Perception gear do we have? Farming stage 21 is absolutely nuts, guys. Like, seriously. Yeah, hang on. Let's see here. Perception. Yeah, you can see we already have a good chunk of Perception. That's just going to get better when you got Faction Wars 21 on farm. It's going to give you good source of speed glyphs, just 6-star glyphs in general. So that's a big priority. So I'd be getting faction wars down. Tag Arena is very difficult. Very, very difficult. What sort of stuff do we have going here? Do we have any team setups? We do have some. This team right here actually looks pretty okay. It depends on how they're built. We boost this up. We strip their buffs. We CC them with Ninja, and Ray kills them. That can work. Yeah, it's not terrible. This team is probably very, very slow. This is a very slow speed aura, so I'd be looking to replace this team. I think this team is very weak. We don't have too many options, mind you, in terms of that. I mean, Deacon is a straight upgrade over Haikatoon, so you get Deacon in there. That would definitely help. We've got Yoshi. We can potentially build some Yoshi teams as well. Yeah, but it's definitely going to be kind of awkward. We actually have a Rotos in there as well. Rotos very good. We have like a tanky team here. This team is okay. One thing we're lacking in this team is someone to keep us alive. So, yeah. Let me have a quick think about this. Okay, so some quick ideas here, some potential ideas. This obviously is very tricky. There's so many permutations. So this is somewhere where, you know, taking a more in-depth look could help. If you guys have any suggestions from the champions you've seen, let us know. But I think this first team as a speed team is decent, right? Arbiter speed boosts. Then we've actually got Ninja's really fast. He's okay accuracy. The problem you'll run into is that he doesn't have enough accuracy to actually lock down any higher resistance team. So that will be a problem. But he's fine as he is right now. He's good speed. I think that is speed tune. So he comes in, he AoE freezes. Then Madame comes in. She's got high accuracy. She strips them. And then Ray just absolutely destroys them with a big nuke. That's actually a pretty decent-ish sort of team composition. I would say replacing Ninja with someone more consistent would be something of a go-to. So, for example, Umbral Enchantress would do a great job, right? Build Umbral Enchantress up, make her faster, like fast, so she's speed-tuned with Arbiter. She can come in and she can do an AoE provoke for 2 turns. She's void, so no weak hits. She doesn't need to be built with any damage. And she can double dip, being useful for you in Hydra. So that would be like a pretty solid speed team. Like, it does the job, right? It does the job. I'd say a second speed team, something like this might kind of work. So we'd use the better aura. Skullcrown's got a better aura. She's actually super slow right now, but she can be built as like a pretty slow nuker. We'd have Apothecary coming in to speed boost us. He would want to be much faster for this to work. You really want to be pushing over 300 speed. Yoshi the Drunkard is actually completely underrated for PvP. He is fantastic, especially in a bit of a slower speed team like this. Again, build him really fast. And then this move is super good. He's going to give increased attack to Canderfon and Skullcrown with a really good chance to place some fears as well. And then Canderfon in the back, very scary, right? This champion is just hard to kill. Red affinity, so very awkward for all those magic affinity nukers. With his passive, he's very tanky, and he can just absolutely one-shot fools. So this gives you like a pretty decent sort of team. I saw that you also have a Gore Grab. Gore Grab could also work instead of Skullcrown. Like, you potentially build like 3 speed teams. That could even work. So like Gore Grab in here, and then maybe build a 3rd speed team. But I don't think you've got a good speed aura, which is one of the things that really holds you back, right? You'll be very easy to beat. Like, you know, you prefer to have the better speed auras. I wouldn't go lower than Skullcrowns. There's no point. This is even pretty dodgy. Skullcrown, Gore Grab, they're pretty low end speed auras. They're going to fail you. It's going to be a target. So that's something to bear in mind. And then something like a tanky team, something like this, I think could work really well. So you have a tanky team here, and it's not bad. The issue with this tanky team is someone comes in with a spirit affinity nuke, and you're just gonna die, right? You're not gonna have enough resistance. They're just gonna one-shot you before you can take a turn, unless you're covered in reaction accessories, which is unlikely. And even then, this team's very vulnerable to CC. So I'll be looking at something more along the lines of this. So we've got Sandlashed. Sandlashed passive can proc, give everyone ally protection, keep them alive. Seeker, his passive can proc, gives increased defense. So you want to build a really tanky Seeker. I saw you've got 2. So we got the flexibility. Build your second Seeker as like an arena specialist. So build him to be super tanky to survive the hit, to proc his passive, give everyone increased defense. Bad L comes in then, and Bad L can cleanse our team. He's going to have okay resistance for soloing anyway, and then a Mountain King who can start one-shotting people and actually kill them. This is also a situation where Lydia can be very, very good here. Lydia gives you a big resistance aura, makes Bad L easy to resist stuff. You can build Lydia with good resist as well. And then Lydia's passive, which blocks revive, combos very well with Mountain King. You could also do a similar sort of thing, putting Candrafon into this sort of team. Candrafon as a nuker does work in go second defensive type teams because he simply is that tanky. One thing that we obviously lack is we don't have, and I don't have these either, champions like Duchess who can kind of keep you alive and revive you in that sort of go second situation. So yeah, but there are some ideas there. Obviously you can build up some Dark Elhain teams as well to counter Torments, that sort of thing. But yeah, that would basically be what I'd be looking to do. This aura is just, in fact, you've got Skullcrown, who's a better speed aura than Haikatoon. Haikatoon, we really want to replace her at this point, just not good enough. Sissia is really not a specialist. You're going to specialize her for Spider. You want to move away from using her in these. Like, you've got a Venus. Venus should probably be built better than Sissia. So, you know, you've got options there for what you could do. Even bringing in Martyr, you could even build a tanky team with Martyr. You could potentially set up a cup, like 2 tanky teams could work, and a speed team. I don't know. You've got options for sure, more than I can go into this video, but there you go, and that will help you push up towards that stuff eventually. Yeah, then for Hydra, the stuff I would be looking at. So, okay, we're really struggling on Hydra here. This is what we did this week. We're not doing too much at all. So, unfortunately, I can't really build you any teams because the keys have been used up. But yeah, let me see. So I'd recommend, my recommendation for Hydra, honestly, is we should be able to beat normal very easily with the champions that we have. Like, this team down here should really be able to do it. We've got Ugo, Shamael, Geomancer. One thing I would say is you wouldn't put Rector Drath in there, because Rector Drath is giving you Perfect Veil, which stops Inquisitor Shamael doing his thing. So you can swap them. Keep Rector Drath for a different team, so that team gets Veil, and they don't have to worry about the true fears, right? Keep Shamael for a team, and Shamael goes very well at Geomancer. So Shamael, Ugo, Geomancer is like, boom, that's a great team, locked in already. You could throw an Arbiter into that team. We could throw Venus into that team. Would give you a ton of damage, and then something else to keep them alive. That's we're not gonna have like buffs. Like, this is just for normal, for a quick normal team, just to get it locked down. Like, if your Versulf is booked, you've got a booked Versulf. He's gonna give you everyone increased defense, ally protection. He's gonna put out some gonna put out leeches as well. Versulf, he's not really a Hydra specialist, but he would do just fine in this sort of situation. Demitha can do a job, but you need to be careful with her. We've got Ursula the Mourner. She can work here as well. Yeah, throw those in with your Ugo. This is the problem. Ugo needs to be much faster, I would say. Good speed Ugo, and you'll be good. But you've got the basis there. I'd focus on just getting one basic good team together. Don't worry about multiple teams, just one basic good team. Okay, so 2 quick team ideas here so you can see them visually. This first team, very simple. Geomancer to burn them, reflect the damage. Inquisitor Shamael to give him lots and lots of turns. Ugo giving us decreased defense, block buffs, and some healing. Arbiter for some more healing, some revives, and a Versulf just to protect us. And we're honestly good. Even like that final slot, like what you put in, another damage dealer would be good. We don't have a ton. You could just put in like Sandlash as a bit of extra protection. You're really sort of flexible, you know? You're really quite flexible. You can kind of put in whatever you want. It's not a huge deal. Just watch out for buffs that you don't want stolen. So like counterattack, obviously, you know, block debuffs, that sort of stuff. If that gets stolen, you're in for a really tough time. But you've got a key here. I mean, you can even just put in Sylve the Drakes to put some single target decreased speed, another revive, and some extra healing. Sylve the Drakes would do just fine. Is this the best team in the world? It's not the best team in the world, but it's the core basis of a really good, solid team. There you go. And here's a second sort of team, just to give you a rough idea. Venus giving us that decreased defense and weaken. We've got Umbral to give us that block buffs. Then we've got Ninja to do damage, and we've got Rector Drath to heal us and to keep us alive. Drexthar is actually a great one to just pop in the lead, and he just stands there, he gets hit a bunch, and he burns them for some extra damage for free. That's a good safe one. With this team, you'd want a bit more defense. I would say Ursula would be a great 6th champion to add into this team. Ursula is going to give you decreased attack, AoE, and she's going to give you increased defense and strengthen. That's going to be important because with HP burn team, you're going to trigger the Head of Wrath a lot. which is going to hurt. So we're going to want that extra damage reduction. I think Ursula gives you that. With the defense, the strengthen, decrease attack, she's going to help you survive Head of Wrath. And like those are two sort of core teams just to get you going. And here's the thing. We don't need to do anything crazy here, right? We're not looking to push up into Nightmare right now. We don't care. We just want to get normal, nicely, easily on farm. And then you can start looking into hard when you've got some free time. But would I make Hydra a priority right now? No, I would definitely get, you definitely want to get up to 1 keying normal Hydra. And you can follow my guides. Even a really good thing you could do, perhaps, is just, I do guides every single rotation. Just pick one of those teams. I usually do 1 key teams for hard. Pick one of those teams, go in with worse gear, slightly worse gear, and use the 1 key hard team to 1 key normal, right? Hard is way harder. You need 20 million for hard, and it's hard enough. You need 6 million for normal, right? Beating normal is proportionately much, much easier. So get normal down at this point in the game, so you can start getting your Mithrala at a good rate and some nice clan gold. It's a pretty big deal. And then just don't really worry about it. Put it on the back burner, get normal down. Hard is too big of a deal. You can be working on champions for arena, which you're going to need. You can, more importantly, I'd be working on that faction wars, so you can get your Lydia. And then starting to work up Doom Tower hard as well. So building specific champions for the bosses. I mean, you pretty much have the champions you need, I would say, so you're not too far off. Bunch of tips here in this video. I hope that was helpful. Yeah, I hope it was helpful. Lots of stuff in there. But yeah, I mean, you've got dungeons locked down. You've got clan boss locked down. You're doing great. I'd do faction wars next. Get faction wars done so you can farm faction wars. Get Lydia. We've got some basis for some Hydra stuff. You can start working on that. Beat faction wars. Beat Doom Tower at the same time. And yeah, then you're looking really good to be pushing higher in arena. Certainly, I would say the most endgame stuff you can do in this game. Hydra is the hardest thing, right? Beating Hydra is super hard. Then I would say getting to gold in Tag Arena is the next hardest thing. Then I would say Doom Tower hard is the thing below that. The easier things you can do are, of course, Faction Wars is going to be easier. Dungeons 20, well, Dungeons 25 is specific to champions. Faction Wars is doable. So yeah, there you go. Hopefully it was interesting. Guys, let me know what you think, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye, everyone.